Time to pull up a chair. We've got another great story for you today in the rLounge. Stepmomming, where mom isn't just a title. It's a badge of honor earned through love, laughter, and a lot of awkward co-parenting. Today on rLounge, OP masters the delicate art of blending families. My stepdaughter asked if she could call me mom. Okay, so I, 34 female, married the man of my dreams last month, 44 male, and he has a 16-year-old daughter from his prior marriage. I've been in her life, and she's been in mine for 4 years, and I've done my best to be there for her as a friend and trustworthy adult, and she's a really, really great kid. I felt closer to her than I did any of my sisters, and I could see she looked up to me and trusted me. One more important thing, she's on the autism spectrum. I swear that's relevant. My husband and I went on our honeymoon for 2 weeks, and then we came back on Friday, and my stepdaughter came up to me and asked if we could talk, and she told me no one had ever been as considerate as I was learning how to make foods in the exact way she liked them, or as patient with her poor emotional regulation. Her words. I think she's doing great. And she told me I overall was her favorite person in her life. So she asked if it was okay to call me mom. This really caught me off guard, and I stopped for a moment to process it. And she got embarrassed and told me she was sorry and it was stupid. But I told her it wasn't stupid because I would love that. She got super excited and hugged me. And it was lovely. I was telling my husband about it later, and it suddenly sunk in that I had become somebody's mom. I just stopped and I told him, I'm someone's mom. And he asked me if I felt like I was in the delivery room. I laughed at that, but I got so emotionally overwhelmed I started crying. This morning she came downstairs and said, "Hey mom," to me, and it's gonna take some getting used to, but holy crap, that was a great feeling. I still don't believe I've earned the titles, but I'll be danged if I'm not going to try my dang best. So it seems last month I got a husband and a daughter too. Pretty good deal if you ask me. Let's look at some relevant comments. First up, OP was learning how to make her daughter's food the way she likes. That line jumped out at me. That she thinks the daughter is the bee's knees, even though the daughter feels insecure about her behavior. Imagine the confidence she will feel and how validated the daughter feels. This brings me joy. The OP replies, the first time I made food for all of us, within the first month or two I knew her, I made spaghetti and broke the spaghetti in half, and she said she couldn't eat with it broken in half. Then she told me she was very sorry and would make herself a sandwich, but I told her it was okay and I could make her another batch, which I did. I found out later on down the road she cried after I left because she thought she insulted me and ruined her dad's relationship with her specific food preferences. Sure, it was a little strange at first, but hey, I'm sure we've all asked a waiter or waitress for something very specific at least once in our lives. Well, congratulations on your upgrade from wife to mom, OP. It's like a 2-for-1 deal, but with a lot more emotional baggage and unpaid overtime. But hey, at least you got the hang of making spaghetti without breaking it in half, so you've already aced the most crucial step in parenting. Just wait until she starts borrowing your clothes without asking or slamming her door in your face. That's when the real fun begins. Parenthood, where every day is an adventure in emotional regulation and culinary precision. Enjoy the ride. My husband's ex-wife was furious my stepdaughter called me mom. March 18th, 2024. So I recently made a post talking about how my stepdaughter asked to call me mom, and it made me really happy. My husband has 2 children from his previous marriage, a 16-year-old autistic daughter and a 26-year-old daughter. When they divorced, his ex-wife advocated for custody of the older daughter. Sounds like it was because she was more independent and less work, and he got the youngest one. As a result, his younger daughter always felt kind of unloved by her mom and doesn't go too far out of her way to talk to her. So the older daughter finally got a job in her field that she's been fighting for a few years, and she wanted to have dinner with the family. She seems like a nice girl from the times I've interacted with her, but her mom seems passive-aggressive and unkind. We all got to the restaurant and sat down, and it was pretty nice and civil. I was sitting next to my stepdaughter, and she was still overwhelmed because she hadn't been to the restaurant before and didn't know what to order. So we were looking at the menu, and I pointed out a type of pasta that looks similar to something we make at home that she likes. She said, "Thanks, Mom." I guess she said it loud enough that her biological mom heard because she literally stopped everything and asked, "What did you just say?" My husband and I tried to defuse the situation, but she was very agitated by it and actually asked why she did it. Their older daughter stepped in and asked if she could tell her mom about her new job, and that got her to move on finally. My stepdaughter didn't say much for the rest of the evening, but on the way home she tried to apologize for ruining the evening, to which we told her she didn't. Then, if this wasn't bad enough, both she and my husband received a 4-paragraph long message talking about how disrespectful and egregious it was that she called another woman mom, and how she was very disturbed by it. My husband is just in disbelief and feels horrible for our daughter. He went to talk to her, and she didn't say much, but she clearly thinks this is all her fault. If anything, it's my fault for not discussing how she should refer to me at the dinner with my husband and then discussing it with her beforehand. I just effing hate that this woman is upsetting her so much, and I see why my husband divorced her. Thank you for reading. Now let's check in the community for some relevant comments. First one. Info. Does the ex spend time with her autistic daughter at all? If not, I'm not sure why she'd be surprised. The OP replies, she sees her on holidays and family gatherings. That's really it. Apparently her mother is entitled to that respect just for existing. Next person chimes in, I know it's not the same, but I was called mom at work. I don't have children, but apparently I exude mothership. Hopefully not in a bad way. The ex-wife is a real piece of work. It's nice that you took on taking care of a special needs child. It is no small feat, and you are deserving of the title of mom. The OP replies, definitely. I have no sympathy for a woman who demands to be called mom while putting in no effort to be mom, or a man who demands to be called dad. Also, I just want to say, yeah, she technically is a special needs child, but she's very capable. She's been looking to apply for an after-school job and has started thinking about college. And while she does struggle with emotional regulation and has very specific preferences for things, she's no different from the rest of us. The next person chimes in, that poor girl. If her mom acted like a mom, then it wouldn't have happened. Her actions, or lack thereof, have consequences. I'm not sure if she has a therapist, but it might help explain things in a way she gets and from a professional. The biggest thing I would be worried about now if her mom keeps sending things to her or making her feel guilty about more things. The OP replies, she does have a therapist who she meets with weekly. I'm sure my husband's ex-wife is going to come up tomorrow. One more person from the community. Info. How long since the bio mother gave her away 16 years old daughter's custody? How much time does she spend parenting her? How have they bonded? She would have some nerve to be angry that a child she is not parenting as much as you calls you mom. You seem to be a very sweet parent to her. Keep it up. To which the OP replies, since elementary school, on holidays and family gatherings, by awkwardly asking how they've been doing since last Thanksgiving. My husband got custody of the young autistic child and learned how to make foods exactly the way she needed them to be, learned how to speak her language, as he calls it, and sit and single-handedly raise a still developing child. Then his ex-wife got custody of the high schooler who could be left alone at home and make her own food so she could work and do her own thing without having to worry about anyone or anything. Wow, the ex is throwing a hissy fit because your stepdaughter dared to call you mom in public. I guess she's the only one allowed to neglect her parental duties and still claim the title. Maybe next time you should bring a PowerPoint presentation to the dinner to explain the concept of parenting by absence. Hang in there. It sounds like you're doing a stellar job despite the circus surrounding you. Maybe one day the ex will realize that being a mom isn't just about genetics. It's about showing up, being present, and actually giving a dang. It's unfortunate she can't get past her own selfishness for her own daughter's sake. And now her daughter has all of the tremendous guilt for calling someone who is deserving of the title mom. Poor thing. Keep slaying the stepmom game like the queen you are. She's super lucky to have someone like you in her life, OP. Kind of an update. Last week I made a post about how my husband and my autistic 16-year-old stepdaughter went to dinner with his ex-wife and their oldest daughter, 26, to celebrate her getting a job she's been chasing her whole adult life. Then my stepdaughter called me mom at one point, and ex-wife got pissed and stopped the whole table to make a point, and the rest of the evening wasn't great. And then we got home. Both my husband and stepdaughter got a big text message from her talking about how disrespectful that was. So the day after the incident, my stepdaughter came over to me and told me her older sister texted her and asked if she could read the text out loud. I just nodded and said, definitely, but on the insides my eyes rolled to the back of my head like, Jesus Christ, here we go. However, her sister sent a very, very lovely and thoughtful message saying she felt bad about what happened the night before and was sorry the two of them haven't been talking much lately and asked if she wanted to try to be sisters again. Then she said she asked her what movies she's seen lately, and movies is her special interest, so that meant a lot she asked. Not gonna lie, I was caught off guard by her sincerity and kindness. It was very sweet. Then later that day, I got a text message from her older sister, whom I assume got my number from young stepdaughter, and said she wanted to get to know me better, since I'm legally her stepmom now, and I'm the woman her baby sister is calling mom, so she definitely wanted to try to get to know each other. She also mentioned that she didn't get to celebrate her sister's 16th birthday with her and felt that was a really big deal and asked if the three of us could get dinner and see a movie. Tonight the three of us went out and saw a movie and got dinner by ourselves. My younger stepdaughter picked the movie and she loved it, but my older stepdaughter and I didn't get it, but all that matters is that she liked it. Then we sat down and had dinner together and had a very, very nice time. Then on the way out, my younger stepdaughter asked if she could run into the store next to the restaurant to buy something really quick, in and out. So we said, all right. While she was in the store, my older stepdaughter told me she wanted me to know she misjudged me, and watching the two of us interact both at the dinner the other night and tonight, me going through the menu with her to find something she'd like, me advocating for her when their mother got upset, and how she clearly feels uncomfortable talking around her, and that she completely understands why I'm now mom to her. All in all, a pretty great night. After I got home, I saw she sent me a text related something we talked about. So it looks like we're going to be talking now. Still got some stuff to work out with her biological mom, but we'll take this as a victory. Anyway, yeah, I just figured I'd share something positive since there's a lot of negativity on Reddit and with my current situation, so I'd figured I'd share a positive update. Now, back to the community for a couple more relevant comments. First one. Aw, I read the last post when it happened. I'm so happy about this development. I'm so happy your daughter is being supported by her older sister and your family feels like it grew a bit more. Congrats and thanks for the wholesome update. The OP replied, yeah, it made me really happy to hear they were talking again. I left this out in the post, but I remember a few months ago my younger stepdaughter was trying to tell her sister about a movie she saw that meant a lot to her, and her older sister was being very sarcastic and snarky about it to get her goat, and she actually started crying. So I think it's great they're getting along. Someone else wanted to say, this is such a sweet story. My mom kind of dropped me off to my dad and stepmom when I was 12 to run off with a guy to Spain. My stepmom has been in my life since I was 4, and I remember both of us trying not to cry when I approached her about calling her mom. Shout out to all the stepmoms out there going out of their way to make the kids feel loved. It helps more than you know. One final community member. My dad is my mom's second husband and our stepdad. They divorced when my sister and I were in college, but we decided that our dad will always be our dad. He met us when we were 6 and 4 years old, and we've lived with him since we were 8 and 6. We've had our dad in our lives longer than our bio father has been in active contact with us. We got the short end of the stick, unfortunately, with our bio parents, as they both have significant mental illness and like to use us as pawns in their weird, hateful games. But our dad chose to show up for us every day and loves us with no strings attached. Sometimes the universe gifts us with very special people. It's good to acknowledge them with the titles they have earned, like mom and dad. Hey, looks like your stepdaughter's older sister finally decided to join the cast of supportive family members, complete with a heartfelt apology and a side of sisterly bonding. Who knew all it took was a movie and a meal to mend fences and redefine family dynamics? I guess miracles do happen, even in the most dysfunctional of families. You're a seasoned pro, OP. Stepping up to the plate as the supportive stepmom extraordinaire, navigating through the minefield of ex-wife tantrums and unexpected sisterly reconciliations with the grace of a swan in a hurricane. Keep slaying the game, because your stepdaughter's lucky to have someone as awesome as you in her corner. What do you make of this? What would you do in OP's shoes? Thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell before you leave. We'd love to hear your thoughts on today's topic, so feel free to leave a comment. See you next time in the rLounge.